Mr. Kanal, we want to ask you too about living in Finland with its national language, not English, yeah, in here. They use Finnish and Swedish.
Yes.
Yeah, so hard when you
Uh,
study with that language. Can you speak in Finnish too?
yes, I do.
Oh,
I some degrees actually. I completed 2 degrees in Finnish language as well. Even though my master's degree was in English, and then my PhD also in English. But meanwhile, I completed 1 degrees related to the business, so it's about international business. Something that I did in Finnish language, and for day to day, I need to have Finnish skills, so I can manage in Finnish as well. But just they ask like, is it hard or easy to learn Finnish language? Is of course the language is like individual learning capacity. Some learns quickly, and uh, Finnish is more or less, I think, one of the hardest language for.
yes.
So in that sense, it's a difficult, and there is no any like common patterns with other languages. It's like completely different kind of language. But I did basically by uh, hanging with the friends. I made lots of Finnish friends when I moved in 2006, and just I forcefully practiced some words, and then I started speaking with them. So that's how I learned, and I managed. But it's not that easy, and uh, many would not expect to learn and try to manage in English only here.
Yeah, that's very good of you. How long you been mastering Finnish language? Is it hard? How long you
Uh,
studying it until you can speak and read in Finnish?
well, I think in that sense, after 5 6 months, I started. Our university also is offer one course. For example, like you are here is learning English language, and
Mm.
even in Nepal, we used to learn one separate language. English was a must. So in the same way, even though someone would join in the English medium, they teach Finnish one course of Finnish. So that also helped me, and we really started speaking with words or no other language were accepted. So fully we learned. So after 5 6 months at least, I could go and ask in do shopping and say using non-verbal languages. So it didn't take much, but writing was, of course, it's tough. I learned slowly, and still I can't write as I do in English, but I manage.
Okay. Maybe other student want to ask something to Mr. Kanal, please. Anyone? Mbak Vivian, Mbak Hurian? Oh, ada di chat ya. Okay, okay. From the chat, you can ask from the meeting chat also. If you feel a bit shy to ask directly. Okay, back to our topic about international business success story. Maybe you can tell us, suggest us, yeah, and our students how to start a business with small capitals and making it success. Can you share us?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very important questions in this business field, I guess. And I know all the successful businessmen, they started from the very, very
Yes.
little startup money or something like that. So mostly the thing is like patience is the important. So if you want to make money, it won't come overnight. For example, if you have accumulated from somewhere, for example, $10,000, and then you expect that, oh, I'll do business and I'll buy the car the very following day or following years, or I will buy a house. So in business, it won't work like that. There are, of course, competitors. If you start some business with 10,000, there will be your neighbors investing 20,000 and opening shop or business next to you. So it's very competition in business all the time. So most thing is patience, and then another is always customer relation is what important. So many times you don't count your cost price, rather you count the customers, a number of customers you make. So that's why in Finland also I see many new producers, they first distribute free of cost. Even we go to some supermarkets, they are okay, hey, come and taste, have this, sit down, have coffee, and taste this one. So that's like initial investment. So when we invest 10,000, so another 2,000 you have to invest just to get customer in. So the first thing is that you have customer in your business, and then once they are there, so next is to retain. And customer services is very important, and then your marketing, of course. Nowadays nobody really worry about the taste of the real product. Rather, if you have very fancy marketing strategies, at least people once go and grab them. So those are the components how you grow up. And of course, um, you need to study the competitors all the time, otherwise they will swallow your business. That's what I feel. Of course we didn't swallow others business, but it always there is chances that the competitors would come with bigger investment, bigger marketing strategies. So you have to keep in mind that you are not only the one selling that products. So every time, all the time, you need to study what others are bringing in the market, what is how you would um, overcome their products, their marketing strategies. So those are the things you have to be very careful in the beginning. But and then once you grow up, you always think of like expanding. For example, in our case, we started from a very small corner grocery shop. Then we, after 2 years, we on another store, and we started making like a little bit of chain. So that's how gradually we try to grow up. And maybe it's the case in Indonesia as well. It happens everywhere in the business sector. So those are some of the suggestions.
Yeah. You were mentioned about marketing strategy. So, how you market your products there? Is the Finnish also interest in buying your ethnic products, or is it just for the Nepal? Yeah, you market your products.
No, the Finnish customers also grew a lot. As I mentioned earlier, like they didn't have any options for like food. They had very limited food cultures here. But once we started bringing different things from the Asian, and then we told we had some pamphlets, or we went to the television also, saying that okay, this kind of products we are offering. And then slowly they came in, and whoever came, we try to convince them with these products. And behind their regular products. Why don't you, for example, you mentioned like they have habit of eating breads all the time, but we ask them, okay, you don't quit the bread. Along with your breads, just cook this rice a day, and then put some spices. So that's how we just like convince them. Later on, we have almost 30% of like Finnish local customers. So that's
Okay.
how, and the mouth to mouth marketing is always good. So that means whenever customer comes, they buy your products. So they are the one who would market further. So that is very important strategy. I mentioned earlier, like there are different ways of marketing these days, but if you go through the televisions Sky Shop marketing or some others, so they may buy once, but if they don't like, or if it was not to mouth, so maybe they would go for another products next day. So if the customer uh, who have really used your products or tested your food, and if they go further, so that's the very permanent marketing strategies, I would say.
Okay, so the marketing strategy is more like testimony from other customer, yeah, mouth to
Actually,
mouth. Yeah, do you have many competitor in ethnic
um,
products there?
um, we started, we didn't have much, but as like immigrants grew up and more foreigners were coming here, so slowly we also had to face competitors. But when we started, we were only one selling Nepalese, and there was one another selling Indian products. So, but Nepalese and Indian products are more or less same, and there was another selling this from Vietnam, products from Vietnam, or I'd say like they had Asian products, but our one was completely different, and that's also very important that we try to different with them. Like, okay, we are not competing with Asian, we are not selling Asian products. Rather, we are focusing just a small community that is Indian, Bangladesh, or South Asian. So that's how at least we survive. So we brought the products that would sell among those groups only. If we had tried to um, market or to sell the whole Asian community, we would not have able, because they were already experienced or doing in the Asian markets. So we focused in a small community, and gradually we added products in our range, and then we even had like African products in the latter stage after a decade. So always think of like uniqueness, like what
Uniqueness.
unique products you have that customer would come, or you will survive for few months or years.
Okay, Mr. Kenal. We have a student here asking in meeting chat from Miss Vivian first, yeah. Um, Mr. Mr. Kenal, I'm so appreciate about your business. Maybe one day you fell so hard, but what you doing if your business stuck? Yeah, what you doing when your business is having trouble or stuck? Yeah, maybe that's what you mean, yeah, Miss Vivian. Okay.
Oh yeah,
What is
yeah,
your
I got.
strategy when your business is
Uh,
falling or stuck?
yeah, that's always the chances that the people changes, the world changes, unwilling things happens, and the same in our life. The business is also anytime something may happen. So um, what I would suggest is always we need to have some backup. For example, when we started this business along with this core ethnic business. So we started something else. For example, we invested some part of money in the housing sectors, some parts of in the restaurant sector. Actually, the investment we did in the restaurant sectors was more fruitful because they were like interlinked to each other, and but we thought maybe this whole food industry would like collapse or would have some negative impact, or the another competitor would come. So we invested in the housing market. So sometimes the housing markets grow up, and sometimes this food markets grow up. So that's how we did. And always like we have to be very safe from our side. At least we need to survive. Again, if we need to shut down our shutter or the shop, we need to have some backup savings money to run our life. And we have enough time to think what have gone wrong, and how to well, stand again. So always the backup is important, and the multiple investment is also equally important, so that you won't like suddenly go into some big trouble in your life.
Okay, so backup plan and multiple investment is important in business. Is that true? Okay, Miss Vivian is answering. Okay, then we have another question from Miss Hurian Kamela. She is asking, how do you feel about the academic system there? Maybe Hurian want to study in Finland. Yes, okay, in University of Helsinki. Yeah, maybe you can tell us more about it,
Okay.
the academic system.
Yeah. Yeah, this there like many foreigners are coming to study in Finland, but unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, like they started imposing fees for foreign students. So it's like I think 10,000 per year in a bachelor's. So it's the range is about from 9,000 to 12,000 euros. That's just the fee, the tuition fees. And then apart from that, you need to arrange nearly, they are expecting 600 euros per month for your surviving. So the new students are required to bring equivalent of 7,200 euros nowadays, and the 1 year tuition fee has to be paid in advance. So that's the financial things. And then job market, I say, it's not very good these times. Like Finland itself is running like little bit of financial recession kind of, because we are having some dispute with our neighbors, big country neighbors, Russia, and we Finland is accepting many refugees, asylum seekers from Ukraine. So those some indicators, and also after the COVID pandemic, Finland didn't have very like successful to tackle, and after maybe it was I think after 2 years this war began. So those things are making a little bit problem to get part-time jobs for students. So that's just the caution that we have to think. Otherwise, the process is very simple. There is just one single website, information portal. So it's like studyinfo.fi. So that's the portals. When you click that, you will find all the universities, all the vocational institutions operated in Finland, how to apply, when to apply, the courses you could choose, and one student at a time, I think, can choose 5 different programs from 5 different educational institutions. You can choose either the university, or you can choose the vocational professional institutions also. So that's the very simple way that you approach to the college. You can check the courses offered, but as I mentioned, like financially it is, and they don't offer scholarships until masters, bachelor's and masters. So if some of you are capable to afford that, of course job would be like supporting your study, but at the moment it is a little bit hard. That doesn't mean that you won't get anything. There is chances like after 5-6 months you would have at least job to support your daily livings here. But in the beginning, those are some of the things that you have to consider.
Okay, so to study in Finland may be relatively easy to apply, but the tuition fee is very, very, very expensive for us. It's in euro, right? In euro,
Yeah, yes.
12,000 euro. Wow, that's very, very big. Yeah.
So I have just posted in the chat this
Okay.
the portal that is like universal portal. So through it, you would get a complete information about the study in Finland.
Okay, thank you very much. Miss Hurian, maybe you can see the meeting chat if you interest to study in Finland and other students too. So maybe another student want to ask Mr. Kenam. Feel free to ask anything. Mr. Baihaki want to ask again? No, enough.
Okay.
Mr. Oh, okay.
I have a question that is probably more personal based on your experience. So I'm assuming that you do at least 2 full-time jobs now, doing research at the university and as a business owner. How do you manage your time and also like stress management? I mean, I'm just assuming that it's pretty stressful, right, to do these 2 things at the same time.
Well, if I think you got some misinformation. At the moment, I'm not doing 2 things parallelly. We completely sold out our companies, and then I started doing my research. So not simultaneously. But I do so many things simultaneously. Like I chair the Nepalese Association in Finland, and I like the social services. So study is not. In Finland, I would say, because I met David, the Indonesian colleague. So when we compare study in Asia, even to, with Nepalese study or in Finland, so Finland is rather very flexible. So here is no like any such deadlines that you have to submit your assignment by this date. So you are so free here. You can do business along with your study. You can hold some jobs. It's completely independent nature of study in Finland. It is not that hard, but I don't have 2 things at the moment.
Okay, so maybe Baihaki want to start business. What kind of business in your mind right now?
No, I was just curious about how to manage the time. Yeah. But
Okay.
I'm interested to continue my studies in Europe, maybe Finland, including Finland, with scholarship, of course, because I cannot afford paying for the fees by myself.
Yeah, in Europe, I think there are some countries still you can, for example, in Germany, I guess, Germany and maybe Denmark also, they are still offering like free education for foreign students. Are you going for master or PhD level?
Masters.
Okay, yeah. It was like in our time, it was fortunate that Finland was, and if you have heard about this Finnish education, I think it's a very like on top in its quality of education. So best of luck. Hopefully, we'll see
Thank you.
see in Finland one day.
Maybe you should start from now looking for scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe start learning English, learning Finnish, yeah, Finnish and Swedish, or maybe Germany also. Okay. Any other student want to ask or Mr. Crisetio? Mr. Crisetio is a lecturer, yeah, lecturer in AKP, yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Nisa. I'm your member
Okay.
at Universitas Terbuka with Miss Ria and Miss Mela and Miss Vivi. We have new members in
Okay.
this project.
Yeah, welcome to the jungle.
Yeah.
we
It's
we're
okay.
not seeing each other physically yet, yeah, just virtual. Maybe one day we'll meet in Jakarta. Okay, so Mr. Kanal, do you have any plan to come to Indonesia, or have you already come here?
Actually, last time when I was in that part, I was in Singapore, Vietnam, Cambodia. That part, that was also in my list, thinking like, okay, I should go and see uh, Indonesia, but maybe Bali
Maybe
in near future.
you should go to Yogyakarta, and see Borobudur Temple.
Okay,
The biggest,
yeah,
biggest temple.
maybe someday. David was looking some conferences for me, so if I have some conferences where I will present my papers, so maybe one day.
Okay, feel free to come to Universitas Terbuka, ya, Open University in Jakarta. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any
thank
other
you.
student want to ask Mr. Kanal before maybe we can finish it, or maybe we still have time, Mr. Crisetio? I will give it the time to you, back to you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Nisa. Is our co-moderator. Maybe next we presentation about certificates for moderators and quiz
Yes.
speakers. First certificate for Mr. Swan as a quiz speakers. I will share screen. This certificate for Mr. Swan. Thank you, Mr. Swan, for
Thank you very
your
much.
time.
Wow, that's very kind of you. I really appreciate.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you very much, Mr. Kanal. Maybe one day if we invite you again, you will. Is it okay?
Yeah. Sure. Let's see the calendar and time. And also, I would like just one, if I'm allowed to share my some experience here. We have many
Please.
participants, and I thought they are a little bit like shy to open up to speak. I would suggest them not to be like that, because when I came to Finland, I mentioned the English was not my like native, or I learned English when I was at grade 4, 5. So at the age of 10, so everybody used to laugh when I
Okay.
open up. I spoke, but I didn't give up. I said, okay, if you laugh, go on laughing, and I would not stop my asking questions and raising concerns, whatever I know, like giving message was important. Of course, grammatically, I might have been done so wrong, but I could convey my message. So that's what here also I would like to share with your students or the party. I don't know whether students or participants, whoever, not to be shy, just bring something to start, and others would, of course, suggest. So always
Yes.
mistake is very important. So if you make more mistakes when you speak, that's what you learn. If you already think of perfect, okay, I'm not perfect, so I won't come up, it won't help. That's just my observation and suggestion.
Yes, because this is not our mother language, right? So we have to train every day, maybe practice, yeah, and don't be shy. That's your message, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kanal, and everyone. Maybe Mr. Crisetio, we can document it. Everyone open the
Yes.
camera, maybe.
Yes, before the session will close immediately. Can you open the camera, guys? I will take screen capture. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Maybe Salsa, Nalia,
Penny,
Ririn,
Ririn, bisa dibuka? Can you open the camera?
can you open the camera?
Naila,
Nela,
oke, maybe sedang ada kegiatan lain ya?
Yeah.
Any other activities?
Yeah.
Oke.
okay. Mr. Swan, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Hope you are always healthy. No, our event is over. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mr. Swan. Thank you, Miss Nisa. See you later again. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to
Okay,
meet
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very
Ciao.
much, Mr. Kenal, and everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.